And we're back in the studio. Today we're talking a business called Do While, based in the center of Johannesburg on Harrison Street. In fact, we have the business's owners in studio today. We have Gugu, Dennis and Tato, who run the business together. Still in studio with us, our BizWiz team, our sales and marketing guru, Bill Gibson, and Thane Niemand, who make sure that our financials and our operations are up to date. And then, of course, would be nothing without Nedbank Small Business Services lending us Spongiseni Ngunze. Nedbank Small Business Services especially has made it their business to grow business.
Our main purpose is making sure that we help entrepreneurs succeed and realize their dreams. And that's quite powerful in that entrepreneurs account for a significant portion of employment creation in our country. So our commitment is beyond just this business.
It's not where you're from, it's not what you have, it's what you decide to do. There's always stuff we can improve, and I'll start with you, Thane. You spoke about how they had a vision, and you need a vision to take you from a shack to a decent-sized office. But plans can improve and should improve.
Business owners in general get so caught up in the day-to-day running of the business, and it gives me a vision of three musketeers in a rowing boat in the middle of a storm. And all that's happening is you're making very little progress, and because you've got no vision, there's no captain. So I think what Do While needs to do is to focus on that profitable business, set themselves goals, but very precise, definite goals.
And we're talking about monthly, we're talking about daily.
Let's say your goal is 120,000 Rand for the year. Divide that into per month, that's 10 per month. You divide the 10 per week, it's 2.5 per week. Divide that into per day, that's 500 Rand per day you need to make. But if you're only selling to every second person, that means you need to see 2 people every day. And that's a defined, specific, measurable goal.
Wow.
How's that?
Wow. Wow. Tato, tell me about where you see yourself in terms of your participation and ownership in this business. You obviously expect a lot of yourself. You have a lot of creative potential that you want to plug into bigger business, not so?
I truly would be honest with you. I should see myself going international in the next couple of years.
Bill, so let's talk about capacity and positioning. And I mean, they obviously had to have some sort of amazing vision to take them out of where they started.
When I look at your real, true story of where you've come from and where you are now, that shows your creativity, that shows your commitment. And I would love to see that you position yourself, maybe, the boys from the shack.
Do I?
Yeah, and Do I, the boys from the shack.
Okay.
And dealing with them, you'll never look back.
That's very
But we could even create a song, okay? We're jokingly here, but it could be a rap song about the boys from the shack. And so we build around that, and we make sure that you need like a good presentation brochure, a marketing brochure on yourself and also on your website, but let's make sure that the 3 of you are on it. Hey, and let's bring some of the quality of where you've come from and put it into the business, put it into the environment, okay, into your marketing materials. And even when you go out to present, I mean, it could be that you go in there and you have a tin can that's got something special in it for when you bring it into people, but it reflects that you've come from Soweto, that you've come from the shack there, because it is sincere. I wouldn't suggest it unless it wasn't real. And this gives you power. It's special.
Spongiseni, designers and IT experts and web developers are a dime a dozen. People need to start thinking beyond what they think they can do and what they think they can sell, beyond themselves, to start thinking concept, ideas.
If you are that kind of representative brand about churning ideas, then you've got to look the part. You've got to live what you say you are, and then everyone will believe you. But also there's something that's very essential in your business, which is really something that's quite unique about what you stand for. And I think that Boys from the Shack is quite powerful because it articulates something that you know that you're good at, that other people wouldn't be able to be good at. And that's a unique positioning.
Technology has to be a key issue here.
Yeah, it does. Because with the companies that we compete with, they use the latest technology. So we've got to be in par with them.
They've got to have the tools to do the job.
To deliver.
So we can, we can go in there and do a fix, and we can turn it into a design studio. You know, we can bring that part of the shack in so that when somebody does come in, they're really impressed. But at the same time, it doesn't matter if they don't have the tools to do the work with to compete with the top guys.
On that point, one of the things that I'd like to suggest that we do as well is we prepare a budget, which is not only an operating budget of your expenses, but also a capital budget. In other words, how much capital expenditure do you need in order for your business to operate, and you actually budget for that, right?
But perhaps the planning, the how to get there financially, how are we going to do that in terms of positioning? How are we going to speak to people? How are we going to express ourselves correctly?
This all starts with a plan. Articulate exactly where you want to end up. What is your end state, by what time? Then determine how you're going to craft yourself a unique positioning in the market. What I would not want to see is a sense that technology alone is going to make you successful.
That's right.
It's a ticket to the game. Have it, but then do more than just have technological capability. That means, therefore, that inside of your own plan, you've got to articulate and go clearly invest in which clients do we want to target, what are we going to sell them, how do we make sure they buy, and how do we keep them after they have bought.
These boys started in a shack.
Not only we started on the shack, we started from zero capital.
So it just goes to show sometimes that it's not what you have. It's just about how creatively you work around what you've been given, what comes naturally, and just sometimes it takes just that little bit of advice to do the right thing, to speak to the right people, to elevate what you do.
The change for you is that now your decision makers are small business owners in most cases. So you're talking to the person who can give you a yes or no, or you can impress them. As you move up into the larger corporations and even to maybe work with some of the larger ad agencies, it won't be one person making the decision. It'll be a number of people. So first you have to get what you call buy-in before the buy happens.
You gentlemen have said that this is quite a competitive environment that you compete in, and there's such amazing, huge agencies that you're competing against head to head. You need mentorship, wouldn't you say, Thing?
Mentorship that they require is in two places. It's in the sales and marketing aspect, as well as the financial aspect. And from a financial aspect, Gugu is well positioned because he's the guy that does the financial accounting on a day-to-day basis. But what we need to do is tweak it a little bit so that he has cash flows for a month on month, because by doing that, Gugu, you're going to find that there are seasons or there are a couple of months in the year where the cash flow isn't going to be as good as in other parts of the year. So what I'd like to suggest we do is we sit down and prepare a cash flow forecast for 12 months on a month-to-month basis.
Bill, every business can benefit from networking and being introduced to people who can, provide insights and share information that you can use to improve your business.
Yeah, in any profession, in order to achieve what you want to achieve, you need models of possibilities, guys. In other words, people that have done it before or are doing the job that you'd like to do. So we're going to work at trying to introduce you also maybe to somebody at the top of a major ad agency. And then they can give you the insights of what it's like, and you can ask the questions and see what does it really take.
An important thing that comes up quite frequently on our show is the issue of the relationship of partners in a business. Now, these gentlemen are, are equal shareholders of their business, but they don't have a formal arrangement.
You need a divorce agreement now.
Yeah, you've said this
you
before.
need an agreement where you determine the relationship between the three of you. Who's responsible for what aspect of the business? What happens if one of you want to leave voluntarily? What happens if one of you pass away? All of that needs to be embodied into a legal contract. And I think that will give you a point of reference if at any stage there is a dispute amongst the three of you. And in that contract, I would like you to have an arbitration clause. Because you know what? The lawyers are expensive. So arbitration is generally a lot cheaper way of settling disputes. So let's do that divorce agreement, that partnership agreement now, guys.
All right, we're going to do this thing. We're going to make things happen. Here we go.